Hey y'all, welcome back to Healthy in Heart, where I share my raw journey toward health, healing, and a whole lot of running experiments and learning along the way. If you're new here, hi, I'm Angel. Welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Every week I bring you along for my update on Mounjaro, also known as Tirzepatide. This is my week 15 update, and today I've got a lot to share. We're talking weight, blood sugar, side effects, some sneaky charges from Mochi. Don't even get me started. And a few changes I made this week, including dropping my dose back down to 6.6. I'll explain why in just a bit. So grab your water, take a deep breath, and let's dive in. So my personal progress update. Let's start with the numbers. My average weight this week was 237.2. That is a 0.6 pound gain from last week. Yes, another week with gains. That brings my total weight gain since starting Tirzepatide to 1.2 pounds. That means I'm 1.2 pounds heavier now than I was when I started Tirzepatide. So what am I doing in response? I've switched back to Chronometer for tracking, mainly because I started using the Lumen device. The Lumen device is a breath analyzer that tells you whether you're burning fat or carbs. It just gives you insights into your metabolism. And Lumen will sync with Chronometer, but it will not sync with the Lose It app. So convenience wins. I'm just trying to gather as much data on my body and on my metabolism as I possibly can. So now for blood sugar, there's some good news here. According to my continuous glucose monitor, the Dexcom G7, right there, and then my sugar app, which is the app that I use to track my blood sugar that syncs with my glucometer. My average blood sugar dropped from 142 to 134 this week. My time in range went from 95% last week to 98% this week, which is amazing. That's a great improvement. And I think that's because my blood sugar is not staying as high as long. The GMI, which is what Dexcom and the My Sugar app use to estimate what your hemoglobin A1C would be running based on the current readings. So in the CGM, it says 6.5. My Sugar app has it at 6.6. Both are still solidly in the diabetic range, but improvement is improvement. And so now I've dropped my Mounjaro. We'll see what happens next week. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Energy and mood check-in. So energy-wise, mood-wise, I feel the same. I've not had any real changes, except maybe a touch more frustration because I feel like I'm doing all the right things and my body and the scale are doing all the wrong things. It's like they're conspiring against me. Does anyone else feel personally attacked by their bathroom scale? I'm just kidding, but it does feel like that sometimes. Side effects and adjustments. So let's talk side effects. This week was a lot less intense than last week. So this week I had some coldness on Friday, the day after my shot, and a little mild nausea the first few days. That's it. Very manageable. I'm still doing my deep breathing exercises during the day when the nausea hits. And if I feel queasy at night, I just roll over onto my left side. I know it's a weird tip, but it really works. And I really think it has to do with how your stomach is situated in your abdomen. So yes, I lowered my dose back to 6.6, and here's why. Remedy Meds, who I'm switching to for the compounded medication, will not start me on a higher dose than what I'm currently prescribed as taking, which is 6.6 from Mochi. And more importantly, I paid over $600 for the name brand Mounjaro out of pocket twice now for the supply I already have, and I want to make sure it stretches, especially because there's been another shipping delay. The nurse practitioner I saw last Friday said that I'd get my meds within a week, but it hasn't arrived yet, and I haven't even gotten a shipping notification, so I'm conserving the Mounjaro that I do have. This. Oh, it's upside down. Sorry. 5 milligrams. So this week I made one tough dietary change. No more peanut butter. Rest in peace, the dinner spoonfuls of joy that I would spread on my Ludenberg salted caramel rice cakes. They will be missed, but it's worth it. Eating the peanut butter is not worth the cost to my health. But I'm still hitting my hydration goals, easily getting half of my body weight in ounces daily. Protein has been a little low, around 80 grams a day, but my Renpho scale, which uses bioelectric impedance to measure your muscle, your bone, your fat, it shows no muscle or bone loss. So I'm just going to take that as a win. I honestly think the protein is overemphasized. As long as you're moving your body and getting the exercise in, I really think the protein is being overemphasized. So, but that's just my opinion. You do you. Here's where it gets weird though. I've been extra hungry at dinner time and I'm not sure why. I had, for dinner this week, we had my Mexican brown rice and cauliflower, plus my black bean and lentil quesadilla mixed, spiced with my nightshade-free taco seasoning mix, and all wrapped up together in a lavash bread with a big dollop of silken tofu sour cream, toasted to perfection. Absolutely delicious. But apparently not filling. My husband and daughter were filled, but my body was not. Maybe my body was missing the calorie density of the peanut butter is the only thing I can guess. By the way, if you want those recipes, they'll be available for printing on my website on May 5th, 6th, and 7th. And they meal prep like a dream. They last up to 4 days in the fridge, possibly more, probably more. But that's just what my recipe would run for 4 days for the three of us. So exercise and activity. Now for movement, I missed 1 day of walking this week, and that was because we were laying new floor in our bedroom. Let me just say, kneeling, lifting, squatting, that totally counts as a workout. Still haven't added back in the weights, but I will once I get my routine back. And for the record, Mounjaro is not affecting my motivation to move, at least not yet. Medication insights. So this is the part where I say I'm frustrated. Well, another gain. Even though my average daily calories this past week were 1,861, which is actually less than what the Mochi nutritionist told me to eat, I still had a gain. So I did some math. To gain half a pound in a week, I had to have overeaten by 1,750 calories over the whole week. That puts my daily calorie burn around 1,611 calories. Granted, I did not exercise as much as I usually do, but so this week I'm running an experiment. I'm dropping to an average daily intake of 1,411 calories a day. We'll find out next week what happens and whether that's a success or a failure and what results I have from that. So now comes time for my rant. Remember how I mentioned Mochi? Well, even though I canceled my subscription last month when I did not get the medication I ordered, they went ahead and charged me $199 again. Worse, when I logged in, the message they said said that they were processing my refund for the medication I never received is gone. They had deleted it. I tried to call them. I sat on hold for 2.5 hours. Eventually, I gave up and called my credit card company to dispute the charges. One for the meds I never got and one for the subscription I canceled. So right now, they have stolen $400 from me. Just a heads up, if you're dealing with Mochi, buyer beware. They use very poor business practices. I have half a mind to report them to the Better Business Bureau too. I am so beyond angry at that. It's like the medication doesn't cost enough already, so they're just going to keep charging you. So I actually ended up deleting my credit card information from their website just to make sure that there's no more charges. And also with the credit card company, I blocked them from charging my card anymore. So what's keeping me going despite all this? It's simple. I want to live a long and healthy life as I can, to have more time to love on my people, because that's what matters to me. To anyone watching this and feeling discouraged, you're not alone. The journey isn't always linear. Sometimes it's like up valleys, up mountains and down valleys, and winding paths. It's like sometimes it just doesn't make sense. And sometimes you do everything right and still don't see the results that you expect. But you have to keep going anyway. You keep testing out theories. You keep running experiments, because nothing is set in stone except the 10 Commandments. So take care of your body, be kind to your mind, and stay rooted in your why. So to recap, this week I gained 0.6 pounds, dropped my dose, improved my blood sugar, and declared war on peanut butter cravings. Also, don't trust Mochi ever. If you've made it this far, thank you. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you don't miss next week's update. And I'd love to hear from you. Comment below with how your week went, questions you may have, or just to say hi, I watched your video. Stay healthy in heart, mind, body, and soul, y'all. See you next time. Shalom.